really is the difference between DJI's most expensive drone and their least expensive drone. We took each of these drones into 3 different scenarios to put them to the test, and also looked at 4 main categories, which are usability, skill level, features, and video quality, to see how each drone is different and see if it is worth the 20x difference in price. Okay, first things first is the price. If you know the DJI Inspire at all, you'll know that this is the most expensive drone that DJI offers, and this thing is a beast. It can shoot 8K raw video, it has interchangeable lenses, and they use this thing to film literal movies. The price of the kit that we have with the 2 controllers as well as all the lenses we have comes out to around $20,000 US. And then there's the brand new DJI Mini 4 Pro. I love this thing. It's small, it's light, and it's portable. And this thing can shoot up to 4K at 60 FPS in 10-bit D-Log-M. And to buy this kit, configured how we have it with the controller with the built-in screen, you're looking at around $920 US. So this means that there is just over a 20x difference in price between these 2 drones. Okay, so now it is time to address the elephant in the room, the size and portability. Now, when it comes to size and portability, it's pretty obvious that the Mini 4 Pro wins this one. I mean, look at it. The Inspire 3 is massive compared to the Mini 4 Pro, and it's way heavier, and this thing literally comes with a whole entire suitcase just for transport. The Mini 4 Pro, on the other hand, is very small. It's actually about the same size as one of the batteries for the Inspire 3, and the size means it's really easy to throw into your camera bag or everyday bag or even just your pocket if they're big enough. Another thing to consider with each of these drones is where you can fly them. Because the Inspire 3 is quite large and weighs quite a bit, depending on where you live, you'll need a special license to operate this drone. This also means that you need to follow certain rules and regulations, and you just can't fly this thing anywhere you want to. But when it comes to the Mini 4 Pro, this thing actually comes in under 250 grams, which means that you don't need to worry about getting a license, and you can fly this thing much more freely than you'd be able to with the Inspire 3. The Mini 4 Pro comes with 1 controller that controls the flight of the drone and the camera at the same time. But the Inspire 3 can have 2 controllers. Now, the advantage of this is that you can have 1 person controlling just the drone and the second person who is responsible for operating just the camera. This means that the camera operator can focus completely on what the camera is doing and make sure the shot looks good. Now, having the dual operator with the Inspire 3 is pretty cool, but one downside is that this does mean that you need 2 people to get the most out of this drone. With the Mini 4 Pro, a single person can throw the drone up in the air, get a couple shots, and land all by themselves, but that isn't exactly possible with the Inspire 3. Now, an area where you will notice a big difference in the single versus dual operator is when you are tracking a subject with the drones. Okay, we've come out to another location here, and right now we're actually gonna be testing tracking with the drones. So first things first, I've got the Mini 4 here, and I'm gonna be following Tim here on his motorcycle. Perfect subject to follow with a drone. And then after I'm done with this, we're gonna pull out the Inspire and we're gonna see how they compare. Please don't crash, Mr. Drone. Okay, so I've got the Mini 4 in the air, and I'm gonna be honest, it's gonna be a bit tricky here to do some tracking shots with this because I need to pay attention to where the drone is, but also getting the shot at the same time. This is where the Inspire does really, really well because you can have 2 operators, 1 person with the drone, 1 person with the camera. This, you don't get that luxury. So I need to kind of pay attention and make sure I don't plow this thing into a tree or a pole or something like that. Okay, so I just finished the manual track of Tim, but now I'm gonna do active track, which should actually help me considering I don't have 2 operators for this drone, and I can do it on my own. I'm tracking Tim here on the bike, hands-free. The drone is doing its thing. I am just praying that this thing doesn't crash, which it shouldn't because it has obstacle avoidance. It seems to be doing a pretty dang good job. Okay, so obviously the tracking stuff with this drone looks incredible, but that's also because that's what it was designed for. So it's looking great. It's looking really, really good. Okay, so we just finished getting a shot where Tim is behind the drone. The drone's basically following in front, looking back. That's a shot that the Mini 4 Pro can't get, but it looks really cool. So we kind of just got it playing to its strengths, but it's
not a fair comparison, but this does show the limit, but the Mini 4 Pro is still crazy.
When you're tracking a subject with the Mini 4 Pro, it's a little bit trickier. It's not impossible, and you can definitely do it, but you do run a higher risk of crashing your drone because you can't always see where the drone is going. Each of these drones is absolutely loaded with smart features. The Mini 4 Pro has a feature that I love called Active Track, which allows it to track a subject and it will fly around and follow it. This is perfect for when you're filming yourself. It can also do things like orbit around a subject or fly around a point of interest automatically as well. And this thing is covered in obstacle avoidance sensors. So even if you intentionally want to fly this thing straight into a building, you literally can't. It won't let you, and the drone will just stop itself in mid-flight. These smart features allow you to easily film yourself and get professional level drone movements without having to spend the time to actually learn them yourself, and you don't even need an extra person. Now, the Inspire 3 is pretty similar. It has obstacle avoidance sensors, it has smart features like Active Track. However, in my opinion, these features aren't nearly as important. When you buy a drone like this, you most likely have a dedicated crew for operating the drone, and you are trying to get a very specific movement or shot. Now, when it comes to lenses though, the Inspire 3 has the Mini 4 beat. The Mini 4 has a fixed 24mm lens, which is good, but the Inspire 3 has interchangeable lenses. You can get a whole load of lenses like a 24mm, a 35, a 50, even an 85, and these can be pretty cool, especially if you want to film some tight angles of a subject and get that compressed background look. Okay, finally is the video quality, and this is a thing you've probably most been waiting for. To test the video quality of these drones, we put them through 3 different shooting scenarios. First, we filmed just general scenery shots during the day, then we filmed tracking shots like you saw, and finally, we used both of these drones at night. Now, I'm gonna show you a shot from each of these drones from a bunch of the different scenarios that we shot in, and you need to guess which shot was taken with each drone. You'll have about 4 or 5 seconds for each shot. Then I'll play each shot side by side and reveal the answer. Okay, are you ready? Let's go. So, how did you do? Pretty close, right? When looking at these shots and seeing them side by side, to a casual viewer, they are almost identical. For some of the Mini 4 shots, if you told me it was shot with the Inspire 3, I would probably believe you. Now, when we were getting these shots with the Mini 4 Pro, we were filming at 4K at 60 FPS with the shutter speed at 1/double our frame rate, and these are also filmed in D-Log color profile. Now, these settings are what I would recommend if you are using this drone yourself, because they will give you the best looking footage possible, and also gives the Mini 4 the best chance against the Inspire. Now, yes, if you look really closely at the footage, you will see that the Inspire 3 footage does tend to be a little bit sharper. I mean, if you look at these buildings, it's a little bit sharper than the Inspire 3. But to be honest, it is still pretty close, and with YouTube compression, you can hardly tell. Now, an area that you'll notice some more drastic differences between these two drones is during the night footage. Because the Inspire 3 has a bigger sensor and better dynamic range, it can capture more light and generally looks a little bit better at night. But I am still extremely impressed with the night capabilities of the Mini 4 Pro. The Mini 4 Pro actually has a special night shooting mode called Night Mode, which helps you get more light into the sensor and get better footage at night, so that's really helpful. And in the end, I'm actually shocked that you can get footage that is basically 80 to 90% as good as the Inspire, but with something that you can literally throw in your pocket. And I know that these two drones were made for 2 completely different reasons. The Mini 4 Pro is for content creators whose videos will mainly be shared on social media and for people who don't have a massive crew to operate their drones, while the Inspire 3 is for people who want the absolute best when it comes to video quality from a flying camera. Anyways, if you are interested in checking out the Mini 4 Pro, there's a link in the description down below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you comment, like, and subscribe because it really helps us out, and we'll see you in the next video.